So for, for Nols, for you, I guess, is it possible to use Data Vault in a data mesh implementation while maintaining data product boundaries and ownership?
That's an excellent question. It is one of those things it's a hot topic in the marketplace at the moment. There's quite a few people that are looking at a data mesh approach to and creating product ownership, product or products, data products, etc. Um, the two, Data Vault and Data Mesh, in fact, overlap in what they try to achieve materially in the different ways that Data Mesh speaks of, okay, I've got key concepts, or I've got these, I forget the technical term that they use for it as such, but essentially the central business idea. That's exactly what your business keys are all about. It talks about the ownership and the governance, and it requires very specific governance around, all right, who owns it, where does it come from, what is its state, what is its quality, all of those elements, all of that additional metadata and context and so on needs to exist in a catalog that's searchable, and you can go and find the products and such. And from a data vault perspective, uh, those ideas of ownership and products and so on is being trotted out for since it was published. Because this is exactly what Business Vault does. Business Vault gives you the opportunity to create a specialized product that is integrated to the rest, that everyone can then leverage as a central element. And so extending and expanding the data products or in your organization with somebody specifically owning and managing that concept or that product as such is extremely well supported. It also makes the whole data mesh development, the implementation of it, very clear, because the approach, the methodology, the standards are absolutely critical for data mesh implementations in an organization. So the rigor required for data mesh is in fact uh, requiring a platform like Data Vault to provide the necessary backbone for the processing and delivery of these artifacts as data products within an organization. So it's actually a very well matched set of ideas that are remarkably similar in what they require to be successful.
Yeah, Michael, I know
Mhm.
you guys have done some data mesh work as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got a perspective on this.
So I mean, there's a huge overlap. That's I agree. From a data vault perspective. So first of all, data mesh defines the data products, the governance, the ownership, and so on. Fine, but it doesn't define how to implement a data product. For example, what's the interns? How do you actually implement this, right? I mean, we see more of that in Data Vault, how we model data with using Data Vault and so on. And from a Data Vault perspective, the data mesh is essentially a highly distributed enterprise data warehouse where you have individual components you could use and build them with Data Vault and other options. And most of our clients, they have a mix of options. That's what it is. But you could use Data Vault for your components, for your data products. And the thing about this, we have built systems where our clients were used essentially thousands of individual components or individual environments for running the enterprise data warehouse. Think about this: when you have a data warehouse on a ship or in a car, something, right? Then you have a highly distributed system, and each node would then deliver the results more to a headquarters or to a more central location. Um, in such a scenario, when you distribute the enterprise data warehouse, especially highly distributed, you need standards. You can't distribute something or spread something without standards, because that's the definition of chaos. Everybody's doing what they want. Think when you build cars. From the outside looks all great. It's all defined how a car looks like, a data product looks like, right? How the car looks like. But when you open up the engine area, well, everybody built the engine differently. So everybody has their own style, everybody has their own standards. I mean, how would you maintain this? People leave the organization. Um, People, yeah, I mean, they leave, and you are left with maintaining this new engine that you see for the very first time, because everybody built this differently, right?
Yep.
So you really want to establish standards how you actually build these data products, and that's where Data Vault comes into play as well, where you have all these standards available.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back a little bit to what you were saying earlier on in the conversation, I think, because if you use the same standards as their modeling technique or
Mhm.
hashing and naming convention, you can join those items together, and if you don't,
Mhm.
well then good luck.
Yep.
You know, you're gonna. So it's kind of quick wins or quick wins with maintainability. Is that's kind of what it feels like to me.
Yep. And what I would also like to stress is what I miss a bit. It's not just about data, right? It's always about raw data, but also useful information. And as a data scientist, I used to do a lot of data mining in the past. And as a data scientist, I want to always have access to the actual raw data and the information, the process information, the cleans information, and so on. I need both. And that's why I like to stress also that using Data Vault in a data mesh, you can not only share your information products, that's how I would call this, to be honest.
Yep.
You could share your information products, but also your raw data for these information products, and that's a cool thing. So yeah.
And I know there's a few large organizations that have used Data Vault to help them do their data mesh. And if
Mhm.
you hit Google and type those words in, you'll find a few presentations, I'm sure, and it may even be some of Scalefree's stuff that I've stumbled across on the web. So